See him on morning sports centers. Kevin Negandi, a Philly guy, I believe, was in town for the game Monday night against the Redskins, and he joins us now to take a look at, Kevin, all the positivity that's going through the city of brotherly love.
I like it, guys. Listen, we went through a 5-year window where it was like, oh, my God, I feel like the abyss. And I feel like we're on the outskirts of the next – to me, I've said this for the last 2 years. I'm going to say it again. I feel like 2018, 2019, and 2020 are going to be pretty special years when it comes to sports in Philadelphia. And we're on the cusp of it. So, like, entering this football season, I felt like this was an 8 to 9 win team. So for them to start 6-1 is pretty incredible. The way the division shaked out right now, it actually helps them. I'm just having fun. There's no expectations surrounding this team in my mind. Granted, they'll continue, and I think they may change in a month, but that's how I view the Sixers. Like, I look at the Sixers as a year away. This is the fun year. I think next year it will be like, okay, where's the pressure now? Let's enjoy them potentially trying to fight for maybe a 6, 7, 8 seed this year and have fun. The same way we're watching this Eagles team, we're enjoying it. I think if you watch the Yankees this year, the only way I could describe it to how we should be watching Philadelphia sports right now, they had some hype, but I think they always felt like that team was a year away before we would see, are they a legit playoff team and can they go deep in the playoffs? And they were 1 game away from the World Series. So, I think the Yankee fan base had a ton of fun watching this year's team. We should be in that same kind of mind frame with all 4 Philly teams. And again, I think we're a year away from, wow, okay, the bar is raised again. The expectations are high.
Yeah, and it's only apropos, Kevin Negandi's with us from Morning Sports Center on ESPN, of course, that the Eagles play Christmas night. So there's your Christmas present, a great Philadelphia Eagles team, maybe the best in the league on Christmas night. And then they get to celebrate New Year's Eve against the Cowboys, in which could be, for the number 1 seed. Who knows? So it seems that those 2 dates having games for Eagles fans is setting up for something special.
Yeah, let's not forget, too, on Christmas Day on ESPN, we're going to have the Sixers playing as well.
Sixers-Knicks.
So, to me, that's pretty amazing. The idea that the Sixers are a team where viewed nationally, I love, and it's funny, when you're in Connecticut and you're based in Connecticut like I have been in the last decade, I get questions about teams and, what do you think of that? I love that in the last couple months, I've been hearing all this Sixers buzz because everybody that follows the league that legitimately is aware of the talent, they know what the Sixers have. They know how good they could be. And also, this is not so much about just being good. They're entertaining, of course, led by Joel. But there was a curiosity with Ben, and it continues that how good can this guy really be? And I think the sky's the limit when you look at Ben Simmons. But Joel carries this team if he plays 65 games. If he plays 65 games, they're potentially a 5 seed.
Kevin, is the Sixers buzz warranted? Should fans panic because they're 1-4? Some of the people here want to hit the panic button. Some of the fans here want to hit that panic button.
No, not at all. Listen,
the haters, Kevin. The haters are everywhere. The haters.
I think it's easy to say that just by, and the frustration of, what happened with the Rockets the other night where they have that lead. The Rockets closed out scoring the final 9 points. And now, listen, when you have such a young team trying to figure things out, led by a young player in Ben Simmons, and he's the floor general, the same way Carson was last year, you have to go through some bumps to figure out how to win. Remember the conversation last year with Carson, especially towards the middle part of the season, and then that bad whatever we experienced watching that Ravens game. Does he know how to win? Can he win games? Can he figure out how to win games late? And why are we making mistakes? Carson had to go through that, right? I think the Sixers will have to figure that out with Ben on the floor controlling the offense. Listen, I wouldn't worry about this team. Let them figure it out up until February. And then you start to say, where are we? Have we figured some stuff out in the sense of, do we have a guy that we're going to get the ball to? Do we have the confidence that Ben can make this shot late in a shot clock? Or where's Markel and his shoulder? I'm not worried about where the Sixers are right now. I really am not. I think that this is a filling out process of everybody on the floor. We haven't even played 10 games. Let them figure it out right now.
You know what else is interesting?
But it is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We got to talk.
But you know what else is interesting, Kevin, is I was talking about this yesterday, that typically the NBA season wouldn't have even have started yet. I mean, it's usually around Halloween night. So you got a young team with a lack of training camp and the season starting earlier. I think that is, you're seeing that this team didn't have a lot of chance to gel, and that training camp was very short.
That's a great point. And when you look at the pieces that are, Covington's the one that when you look at who's getting prominent minutes from the previous years, and then you throw in Ben and Joel, who's played less than 40 games in his career. Markelle, who I think they should maybe consider this kind of like a redshirt season. Whatever they get from him is a bonus, because this is really Ben's rookie year. And let Markelle just continue to build some confidence and honestly figure out what he's doing with his shooting form. When you also throw in JJ, who's new to the system, there's a lot of moving parts with this Sixers team. It just needs time to gel. Let's get out of October. Let's get out of November. Let's see where we're at after Christmas. And then we can kind of say, all right, 20, 25 games under our belt. Let's a quarter of the season. Let's kind of assess how good we are, where we are, what do we do well, what we need to improve on.
So, Kevin, a lot of moving parts, but one of them that's been there for a while now, Brett Brown. Is he the right guy for them moving forward, or are they going to treat him like Terry Francona, run him out of town, and then we'll see him win somewhere else?
I hope they do give him a legitimate shot. I don't think the previous years, the only thing you can gauge Brett Brown on, what he's done the last few years, throw the record out, it's the effort. We saw a lot of effort from some of these guys on the floor playing hard for Brett. So it's hard for me to say anything negative about Brett right now. I do want to see him more in when we're looking at critical situations, down by 2 or up by 2, protecting a lead with 30 seconds to go, how he's going to handle, the right plays coming out of timeouts. But it's hard to judge Brett on a record the way the philosophy of this team was the previous 5 years. So I think we need to kind of be patient with Brett at this moment. The players always play hard for him. They always respect him, and that's a big deal in the NBA. And he comes from a pedigree with Pop and the Spurs that I still think we need to trust him.
Kevin, you're Philly made, you're Temple made. Of course, I'm going to slip that in, but you're a national guy now on SportsCenter. Which guy moves the national needle more? Is it Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, or Carson Wentz?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good question, Pete. I just think that right now it's Carson, because football is still king. But I think everybody knows that Ben is going to be pretty good, and you look at what the skill set and all the things he has. He's going to be really, really, really good as a point guard that's 6'10". With Joel has something that neither of these other guys have, and that is he has something with social media, a following, and a way to deliver it, and a sense of humor that connects beyond anything you do on the court. So when you look at Joel, I think Joel's popularity can balloon if he stays healthy and he just stays, efficient and continuing to do what he's doing. Because I think everybody looks at him as this. Look at how, I go back to 20 years ago with Shaq. Shaq had a connection with kids and a skill set that blew everybody away. Joel has that same combination.
Yeah.
He has a connection with kids and a skill set that you're like, oh my gosh, this guy at this size can do this that we rarely see. When you look at Carson's on the level that he could dominate this city and literally do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. Because the way football is in the DNA in Philadelphia,
no doubt.
There's nothing like it. Ben can do it a different way. Ben can do it in a certain way that we've seen with Magic and LeBron, just because his skill set is something we haven't seen when it comes to big men.
Well, what's great, Kevin, is really for the Sixers, since Iverson left in 2006, he had that little rendezvous back here in about 2010, but that was kind of like a retirement tour for like 10 games. So really, '06 when he got traded, the Sixers have had nobody to connect with. Really since, I guess Vic had that little run in 2010, the Eagles have been a revolving door. The Phillies run, once that ended, there's just been no connection to stars, and now it seems that there are legit stars to connect to in the city, which makes sports a lot more fun.
Yeah, it does. And you know why? What's the common theme? All the teams we're talking about pretty much stunk and had to hit rock bottom and then develop talent through drafts. And that's what it comes down to. It's no longer putting Band-Aids and staying afloat. It's finding franchise difference makers. And the only way you could do that is either you're like a team like the Miami Heat where you lure LeBron James, but then you eventually lose them, or you build from the bottom and then you just say patience. And we saw how the Warriors have done it, where they built, then they added Kevin Durant. We've seen like this Astros team, you build and then you bring in Justin Verlander. Shoot, we saw that with the Phillies several years ago, where you start to add some pieces after you have the core come through the system. And that's what we're seeing with all four of these franchises, which is pretty cool. And they're all coming at the same time, because we went through some dark times, I would say, from I would go from 2011 to 2015, 2016.
Kevin, you celebrated an anniversary at ESPN recently, right? How many years have you been there, and when could the people see you on the mothership, as they say?
Yeah, 11 years. It's been amazing. And this fall, my schedule changed a little bit, which I'm grateful for, because I also work weekends now doing college football on ABC. So if you're watching an ABC college football game, you'll eventually see me do pregame or halftime or postgame, and in the studios with Mac Brown and Booker McFarland. And I'm still doing morning sports centers on Fridays as well as Sundays. That Sunday show is, our big show leading into Countdown. So I love doing that, being in the middle of college football from Saturday nights leading into the NFL Sunday, and I'm starting to do some play-by-play college football and some more things ahead. So it's been a good thing, and honestly, it's been my dream job, and I'm pretty lucky to say I continue to do it as I've gone past 11 years at the mothership.
He's Kevin Negandi, a Philly guy, as PT said. I like to say Temple Tough, because that's my favorite one from Andy Reid.
Andy Reid got me
Andy
on that
Reid
one time,
blasted him
Kevin.
one time with the Temple Tough. He asked him this drawn-out answer.
Real long question.
Reid just kind of smirked, and his only answer was Temple Tough, baby, because PT's over here with his Temple T-shirt on in the Eagles press conference.
Golf
shirt, yeah. So Temple Tough is what we like to say. Kevin, we appreciate a couple minutes of your time, and we'll obviously be watching you on the TV, man.
Guys, my pleasure. Fly, Eagles, fly.